Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the journey. My name is Kemley Whiteside. I am the author of Accepted, Secured, Significant, Empowering, Igniting, and Fulfilling Your Purpose. And you can actually find my book at kemleywhiteside.com. And feel free to order a copy if you do not have a copy of our book. This has been helpful to various people all over. And we want to make sure that you're being empowered, ignited, and fulfilling your purpose. One of the things that we have been doing with the journey is that we have been emphasizing with the journey how important it is to understand how your life is progressing. The journey focuses on accountability, networking, and productivity. So what that does is that it allows you to be able to have someone as an accountable partner. If you do not have an accountable partner, we're here to help you with an accountability partner. More likely, accountability partners are people that you're not so familiar with, so they can really help you better. And then we also have the networking process, which is why we do these sessions every Monday. It's important that you network with people. It's important that you understand why you need to know people and why you need to focus on people on a day-to-day basis to help you with what you're doing. Also, the productivity aspect of the actual journey is to actually allow you to be productive with your goals and your dreams. Most likely, there are people who have a lot of dreams and a lot of goals, and they pretty much have so much that they want to do. Unfortunately, they do not have someone who they can actually help, someone to help them. So they are constantly becoming confused about where to start, where to begin. So what we focus on is giving you some guidance, is giving you some ability of knowing that someone is there to assist you and help you with your journey. The journey is very important, and we want you to make sure that you are being held accountable. Today's session is very intimate, very personal for many people. Sometimes it's very difficult for people to understand why they deal with rejection. Most of the time, they don't even understand it. And what I want to focus on is for you to know that rejection is not something so much that's personal at times. It's sometimes unaware. People are unaware that they're rejecting you. They don't even know why. Most of the time, they feel as though they don't like something about you. And if that's the case, they reject you. Uh, it's very common. It's very common that rejection creeps up on you. Rejection comes in various ways, in various phases of your life. And most of the time, you begin to see yourself like someone is completely against you. So when you start feeling that way, you need to see the reasons behind it. Most of the time, as we have been talking with the journey on a day-to-day basis every week, it's not really that you've done something wrong or you've done something to that person. Sometimes the person has been dealing with various things in their past and they just don't understand why they're dealing with it. So I want you to enjoy today's session. I also want to make sure that while you are asking questions, that you receive what we're doing here so that you can be empowered today. We're going to wait for a couple more people to join us so that they can actually be a part of what we're doing tonight and discussing about understanding rejection. I have some various questions for you, very interesting questions that should be very important for you to see and understand why this is happening in society, why is it happening in corporations, with jobs, with relationships. But you will be blessed. You will truly be blessed by the session tonight. I was blessed by it. And I think in all reality, you're going to be blessed just as much. So for all the people that are joining us today, we thank you. We appreciate you. We don't take your time lightly. And we certainly don't take in, we want to take in consideration that you're taking the time out to be with us. So give us a few minutes for a few people to join us in tonight. And hopefully you can see what this session is going to do. Most of the time, we don't even understand why people react the way they do, but we want to get more understanding. That's why the sessions are continuously growing with the topics that we're doing, because we want to make sure that you are around and that you can live long in being healthy emotionally, spiritually. So I think that's very, very important. Let us wait a few minutes and see what happens with the other people that are joining us today. And we will be able to continue on with the sessions. So just hold on tight, and we will be right back. So we will continue on with giving you an understanding of why we're discussing tonight on the journey about understanding rejection. This is the topic for today. And let us start first with understanding on my book on accepted, secured, and significant. We have on page 42, if you have not purchased a copy of it, I really encourage you to purchase a copy of the book, because it's going to help you follow along with the journey and what we're doing. If you can hear me, make sure that you say something if you're out there, so that this way we can all be able to participate. The seats can be open at any time. On page 42 on my book, Accepted, Secure, and Significant, it reads, I once misunderstood why I was rejected. I always felt like an outcast or completely lost in certain environments. I had a voice, but I was never heard. I felt taken for granted in so many ways. I realized that it was up to me to take a stand. We struggle with being accepted on a daily basis and have no idea how to conquer that battle. Some are rejected on a daily basis and have no idea how to conquer that battle. Some are rejected from birth and have no idea why their parents abandoned them. We were not created to feel rejected. God already accepted us and created us in his image. To reject you is to reject God. The moment someone mistreats you, they are also mistreating God. This is from the Word of God. Each time you push away someone you care about and love, you are pushing away God. We must understand that our birthright was to be accepted from the time we were conceived. Mankind made its own rules and decided to play against God's will, rejecting what God created. The Word of God does not say to like everyone. It says love everyone. It is important to make these distinctions, because liking people and loving them are two different concepts. Those who you feel are rejecting you may equally feel rejected by you. So when I wrote this, and I wrote this piece of information about understanding rejection, it was personal. It was definitely personal. It was personal to so many angles and so many levels. There were so many things that I experienced, that I dealt with, that I went through, that I wanted to emphasize why I was feeling rejected. At some point in my life, I did not understand it. I was completely in denial. I was blaming other people for the way people treated me. I was blaming situations on and off. And then I had to come to realize that some people in our reality don't really understand the concept of rejection. And I didn't know it myself, so I can't blame other people for feeling the way they do. I think it's important that we all understand the behaviors of people, why they behave the way they do, why they do the things that they do. Most of the time is because those people experience the same things. Those people dealt with the same problems, and no one was there to advise them or to tell them that that was wrong, that the way they were treating people was wrong. So they pass it on to the next generation or to their own people, to their own family, in their own relationships. So I had examples that I can give you tonight, but also there are questions that I have. Like one of the question is, why do you surround yourself with people who don't receive you? you are allowing yourself to be rejected. In our reality, why do you think you should surround yourself with people that don't like you? If somebody does not like you, you don't have to be surrounded by them. You don't even need to have any kind of mingling with them, because what you're enforcing to yourself is that you are okay with how this person treats you by rejecting you and treating you like you're really not important while you're in their atmosphere. And this is really critical. Sometimes we want to be in groups of people, and most of the time we really want to be accepted by these people. So we will do whatever it takes to make that happen. But the person is continuing to show you block. They continue to reject you. They continue to feel like you're not a part of them. They don't even inform you of the meetings. They don't even tell you when something is supposed to be accomplished for you to get invited to. So you're surrounding yourself with people that have showed you in several occasions that they really don't like you. Every time you have a meeting and you're not inviting in that meeting, but you're a part of that group, you feel rejected because you feel like somebody is treating you strange or funny. And that feeling is acceptable because that's natural that you're going to feel that way. But why should you continue to feel that way when God did not create you to feel rejected or to be rejected? God created you to be like him. God created you to be wonderful. God created you to be prosperous. All these beautiful things. There was nothing in the creation that was said in the word that he created you so that other people can mistreat you, reject you, and make you feel uncomfortable. He created you so that you can be great in everything that you do. So that means that if other people are treating you with this in an uncomfortable manner and they're disrespecting you, you are now entering into a space that you know you shouldn't belong to. You don't even need to be there. More likely, you want to try to make that person see you for who you are, and you want to try your best to change how they feel. But a lot of times that feeling is not going to change. So let us keep in mind that when we're dealing with rejection, you have to take into consideration that a lot of the people that are treating you the way they're treating you, they don't like you. It's not always because you're a bad person or someone just thinks that you're unlikable. I think in all reality, it's been passed on to them. And they're habits that people develop. So many habits that really are really not good. I don't like them personally. I don't think it's fair. But let's take, for example, children who have been put for adoption, for example. You see a lot of kids who are being put through adoption, and more likely they feel rejected because their parents put them up for adoption. So this means now that child is feeling completely confused because they don't have a clue why the parent is giving them up, why the parent is doing what they're doing, and not even have contact with them, not even feel like they need to even find them. Plenty of people are living like that in this world. There's so many of us living like this, and we really don't get why. We don't understand why. But one of the things that I had to get out of that is that when you are being put into an adoption process, either that person, the parent, has dealt with a situation that they couldn't even control. It could be financial. It could be an abusive issue. It could be something that maybe they just don't feel prepared or ready to be a parent. And sometimes it's to the child's best interest, if someone is not ready to be a parent, to really, not do something that's not legally bounded to make that child not come to the world. There are many circumstances where people give up and they really choose to not be a part of the child's life. And I bring it in a different way now, divorced parents. So now we're dealing with children that are separated from their parents through a divorce. Now they're feeling rejected. Now, the fact is that person remarries or has someone in their life, and they still don't have a relationship with their child because they just felt like, you know what, I'm starting over. I don't want to be bothered with the parent of my own child. But why does the child have to suffer through all of that if the parents have disagreements? So the children become completely rejected. See, rejection doesn't have a name. Rejection doesn't have something tattooed around your neck saying, come, please reject me. It doesn't work that way. So don't feel as if it's attacking you personally because it's coming at you. It's happening to everyone. So it's not personally intended for someone to really do the things they do to you. They may have something against you. Yes. They may not like you. Absolutely right. They may feel that, there's something about you they don't care about. It could be your hair. It could be you got white teeth. It could be that you dress nice. It could be whatever. And because of that, you are now faced in a situation where this person just treats you any kind of way they want. They make you feel uncomfortable. And at the same token, you start feeling some type of way because you feel as though this individual is now looking at you very strange and funny and doesn't want to even accept you because you have these beautiful features or these beautiful things, a nice house, a nice car. All of this is a part of what people feel. But the word of God did not create us. He didn't create us. It said, beautifully and wonderfully made. So that means, you should be beautiful. You should be wonderful. The fact is, we deal with situations that are out of our control. And when you're faced with those situations that are out of your control, do not take them personal. Do not feel that that you're doing something, that you're faced with that something because it was intended to be that way. That is not the case. No one should treat you badly. No one should disrespect you. No one should come to you and act towards you as a way of saying, I don't want to be bothered with you, and you haven't done anything. Even if you've done something wrong, no one has the right to treat you like an outsider. No one has the right to mistreat you. No one has the right to act towards you indifferent. So let us consider these things about rejection. You felt so many times in a relationship that your husband or your wife didn't care about you enough. They looked at your body. They might have said, I don't want to make love to you. I don't want to be bothered with you. You need to lose weight or you need to gain weight. So here you are feeling uncomfortable. Here you are feeling some kind of way because now you feel like this person is looking at you, yourself, your outer part of your body, and they're not even respecting it because they feel that you need to change for them. Rejection doesn't have a name. I'm saying that again. It doesn't have something that's a warning that's coming at you saying, I'm coming to attack you. It simply happens. And it happens to the most wonderful people, and it happens to the people who are not so wonderful. But when you allow someone, once again, the question is, why do you surround yourself with people who don't receive you? When you don't feel received, when you don't feel acknowledged, when you don't feel respected, it is your part, it is your responsibility to reject that situation. It is your responsibility to reject the issue, not so much the person, but the issue. Because the people don't really know half the time that what they're doing is literally causing you pain. They're telling you nasty things. They're speaking to you in a very uncomfortable way and disrespectful way. They're saying, okay, I need to go ahead and start the gym because you need to, if we're going to sleep together, I guess we need to go ahead and go work out. Well, did they explain to you? Did they ever ask you if there's a medical condition? Did they ever ask you if it was a family trait issue that is going down the line of your family ties? There's so many things that goes on with people, and we don't get to the root cause of why it's happening. So we're automatically assuming that the person just wants to be obese, or the person just wants to be in that particular state of their mind. They just feel comfortable that way. Everybody that's obese does not necessarily mean they want to be that way. There's some issues going on, certain conditions happening, and you need to understand that if the person is treating you that way, you need to express and explain what you need help with. They are not mind readers and psychics and all of that. So if there's a condition there's something going on with your body, there's something going on with the way you feel, you need to talk about it. Because if you keep denying it to yourself, then you're allowing that rejection to come into your circle. Because the moment you don't explain it or express it, no one is going to be aware of it. So I really believe that a lot of times we bring to ourselves a lot of the rejection, because once again, rejection doesn't have a name. It doesn't say, come to Kemley Whiteside and beat me up and reject me. It happens. People just do it. So it is my duty. It is my responsibility to put a stop to it. And that's why I was saying, with children that are being adopted and parents reject them, divorced parents who are dealing with situations where one parent chooses to not speak to another parent and simply not see their child for who knows how long, because they're having some problems, they're having differences, and no one is becoming responsible enough to apologize or to say to the person, you know what, I was wrong. I apologize, but we need to make amends. There's so many things that people don't see that they do wrong. And even though they might have even been confused at the time and they don't even have answers of why they behaved the way they did, they can redeem themselves. They still have time to do it, but they will refuse to do it. So let's take the other question: is your spirit crushed? Of course, your spirit is going to be crushed if you are going to be rejected. You could be at work, and like I said, someone could easily pass you by every day, don't even speak to you. They act like they don't even know you, but you're there. You're not invisible. So you feel rejected because you feel like the person doesn't like you, doesn't care about you, doesn't care for you. Maybe there's some reason why. And I cannot tell you why people do what they do to you. But what I can say to you, and that's why we do the journeys, is for you to avoid doing certain things to people, because we cannot control what other people are doing. So the journeys are here to help you avoid doing certain things towards other people, because you can't focus on what whoever is doing to you, but you can focus on what you can avoid. So if you know you feel rejected and by a certain amount of people in your circle, and they don't treat you right, they don't respect you, they treat you like you're scum, and you basically stick around them, you're automatically allowing them to make you feel that it's okay for you to feel rejected. So you have the upper hand of saying to that person that you don't really want to feel this way. So it's really important that you allow yourself to not be rejected. You allow yourself to not be in a position where people are constantly thinking that they have the right to come at you that way, that they think that you should be this way. Every single time someone comes to you and makes you feel uncomfortable, you can say, I no longer want to be a part of that group of people. That's simple. You don't even owe them an explanation. You should automatically make it your business to simply reject that situation and the trap that's going around with that. So when you're in, let's go back to a relationship situation when it comes to intimacy also. This is something that as women, most of the time, when you're intimately involved with someone, you really feel that that person should always care for you, nurture you, and all these great things, and make you feel like you're on top of the world. It goes both ways, for ladies, also for men. As a woman, you want to compliment your man. You want to tell him how good he looks, how wonderful he smells, that you enjoy spending time with him, that you actually love what he looks like and what he's all about. You don't want to go on rejecting every time he wants to spend time with you and you just want to say no to him. You know, most of the time, we make the excuse that men go out and they cheat on people, on women and all this other stuff because we don't spend enough time with them. That's not necessarily true. It's not so much the intimate part of it or the sex part of it that's being rejected. It's the intimacy of the language. It's the intimacy of the things you should say, the things you should do, the things you should show. Show the person you care, show the person you love, show the person that they are important to you, that they mean a lot to you. You don't have to think that because of sex, you have to be accepted. Because if they don't have sex with you, then you feel rejected. Where did that come from? Somebody doesn't have sex with you doesn't mean they're rejecting you. Sometimes People just want to have intimacy in a different language, not just in the other language, if you know what I mean. So you want to have intimacy by being able to speak in life into the partner that you have, speak great things into their lives, because they may have come from various situations in their past where they already were rejected because of the way they were. Maybe they were too fat, too obese, too this, too that. Maybe they didn't have the greatest amount of smell. I don't know. I mean, you got so many cases out there. And believe it or not, they're real cases. They're real issues. But you got to make sure that if the person feels rejected by you, you don't make the same mistake and go on over and over again, repeating it. Why would you want someone in your life to not feel appreciated and loved and make them feel as though they're really nobody to you? It is important. Don't do what parents do to their children when they're divorced. Don't do what fathers and mothers do when they abandon their kids, because it's the same thing when you are abandoning your relationship, mistreating your relationship, your man, your woman, and making them feel like they're not important to you. Rejection, once again, is not something that has a name saying, I'm coming after you. I want to attack you today. I just feel like messing with you. It just happens. It happens to people that sometimes don't even think it's going to happen to them. So understanding rejection is in all levels. It's in all angles. Try to make it your everyday journey, that whenever you're dealing with people, that you do your very, very best to treat them with your utmost respect and with the best possible way that you can. Because what you're trying to now build is a way of allowing people to know that you care. Don't worry about the ones who did you wrong and rejected you and didn't like you. That's why if people don't like you, you have an amount of circle of people that don't care about you. They don't even like you. And I'll give you a good example. I have people who really don't like me. They still, and I know they don't like me. I mean, I do believe I have a good sense of understanding they don't like me. Now, I'm a very likable person. I'm a very, very likable person, meaning I have a lot of people who I know as a person that I am. I know who I am. So I'm very likable. People that come in my circle love me and I love them. Why? Because I'm likable. I can enjoy people. I love people. So when someone does not like me, guess what I do? I wonder, how many people do they have that really like them? How many people do they have that really stick around them, that really are around them, surrounding them and being a part of their life? That's the part that I'm concerned about, because now I'm looking at something that's not personal. It's something with them. It's something going on there, because now you're looking at a pattern of a situation of someone who doesn't really have a circle of people who are liking them or being a part of them so much. They may have a lot of people, but they're all in a negative type of people. See, I carry all the positives while they carry all the negatives. So now you're seeing why they don't like me. So that's something that I had to deal with on my own. And start saying, well, why do I have to change? Why do I have to create certain things and try to change who I am just because I don't want to feel rejected? Doesn't work that way. You don't need to start changing everything about you every single time somebody tells you they don't like something, because now you got a whole bunch of people you're going to have to make a big change for. Why do you have to put yourself through all that? If the person says they do not like you, they don't like being around you, they don't really care for you, why do you see the need to really be surrounded by that situation? Because at the end of the day, you can't change it. If everybody came to you with different issues about you that they want you to change, you're going to have a big list. A humongous list, and a list that's going to continue to grow. And then you're going to face a situation where you are going to be burnt out. You're going to be completely confused. You're going to go around trying to change every little thing. If the person tells you that they need you to lose weight, you're going to try your best to lose weight. Then somebody else comes around and tells you you need to gain weight. Then you're going to try to gain weight. Why do you have to satisfy people like that? Where is the part of where am I comfortable at? How do I feel comfortable? What about me? That's the question. What about you? What is it that you feel that makes you feel complete? because you're going to have people who are going to reject you. You're going to have people who are going to treat you like a hot mess. You're going to have people that are going to disrespect who you are because they don't like it, because they feel the need to tell you about how you should live your life. When you have people like that, you need to understand that you can't change them. You could love them from a distance. You could love them to the point that you can make a big effort in saying to yourself, I am going to be happy for me. I'm going to be happy for Kemley. I can't please everybody that comes to me with an issue or a problem or a situation. That is important for you to live with. What's not important is for you to please everybody and try to amend everything and make them feel like they need to be a part of your life. Why do you see the need of making people become a part of your life when they're not making the same effort to make you a part of their life? That's where you need to start seeing yourself in a different light. Why do you have to see yourself constantly making sure that you do things to please other people? Because they're already rejecting you if you have to do all that work. They're already rejecting you if you have to do all that work. So listen, it's important that you stop allowing rejection to be attracted to you and to your spirit. It's important that you stop allowing it to feed into the foolishness that's out in the society and in the world, making you feel that you have to do all these different things in order to step up to the game with them. You don't need to play the game. They can play it all by themselves. You don't have to step to that level. You have someone who created you to not feel rejected, someone who created you so that you won't be rejected. The God that we serve has given you all the potential so that you can live life to the fullest with no one around to try to fulfill it for you. He gave you the rights to fulfill it by yourself with him, which means you don't need anybody else's approval. But when you're seeking approval from people, when you're trying to make that person feel like you are this beautiful person and wonderful person, why do you have to make that much effort? Why is it necessary? Because you want to accept that for yourself. But if you don't accept it, they won't accept it. So start accepting who you are. Understand that when people reject you, it's not because they're coming after you to say, I'm going to treat you wrong. You have opened the door. You have allowed them to come in to say, I can do with you anything I want. I can say to you anything I want to say to you, and you're going to be okay with that. So that's why in the book, I had to understand so many things, and I was able to speak on so many things. You know, yes, did I ever feel like an outcast? Absolutely. I felt like an outcast on various occasions because we want to feel accepted in groups. We want to feel accepted in society. We want to feel accepted with what's going on today in every part of the world, whether it's social media or everything. We want to feel important. And that's natural because God, wants us to feel happy and wants us to feel good. But we want to feel so important to the extent that all that we're doing is causing ourselves more confusion. All we're doing is causing ourselves more trouble. All we're doing is creating angry moments and this, just being angry at everything because we're not satisfied with ourselves, because we're trying to live up to what other people's standards are. Let me say this. It's very important we stop doing it. It's not of God, period, that you go on allowing people to reject you because he didn't create you to be rejected. He didn't create you to feel rejected. So now you're against the will of God because his will for you is for you to be great, prosperous, and in all things to be wonderfully made. He made you and created you that way. So one of the things that I want to touch on also is the fact that everybody pretty much knows a lot of the story of my book On Top of My Life. Some people do it, some people don't. That's why you need to buy the book. You need to go to KemleyWhiteside.com and purchase a copy of the book. And if you already have a copy, give it to somebody else. It's very important that we start sharing with other people the wealth of knowledge and the wealth of freedom. I'm very free. I am a free person today because 40 years of my life, I lived in bondage. I live in bondage, trying to figure myself out, trying to figure out why is it that I've been rejected by the situations and circumstances of my life. And one of those issues personally was the fact that my mother died at an early age. She really wasn't a part of my life. And then I didn't know my father. Many people are struggling with mothers who are either drug addicts, alcoholics, and prostitutes, whatever. So you feel that your mother isn't paying any attention to you because from the time she became this way, she rejected you. But let me tell you something. It wasn't her fault. She just wasn't taught certain things, or probably were taught certain things and chose a different path. You can't carry that burden of rejection for the rest of your life. You got to dump it back where it started, which is that other person, your mom. It started there. Same thing happened when I was able to realize recently who was my father. I mean, 40 years of not knowing who's your father, obviously you feel rejected. Obviously you feel like something is wrong. Why is it that nobody wants me? Why is it that nobody cares for me? But in all reality, when God showed me in the word of God that I was created like his image and I was beautifully and wonderfully made, I had to see it for what it really was. The fact that I don't have a relationship with my father. I don't have that relationship of saying, okay, this is a relationship we're building. Do I need to feel rejected for the rest of my life? Absolutely not. And it's not like he probably doesn't want to have one. Maybe he does. Is he showing it? No. But am I supposed to be upset about that? Absolutely not. It's a choice that he made. And it's a choice that I'm making to simply move forward, because it is not my job as a child, even though I'm a woman, but I'm a child because I'm his daughter, to go after him. It's not my responsibility to go chasing after him. It is his responsibility to finally come to see me. So let's look at that alone. That alone is saying, Kim, are you going to understand what rejection is, or are you going to be in rejection? So it's not even about me. It's simply him dealing with his own personal issues, or maybe facing the fact that he's in shock, just like I'm in shock, for knowing that after 40 years, we didn't know that we even existed. I knew he is existing, but he didn't know mine, but I didn't know who he was. And then I have siblings on top of that. Some siblings have accepted me, others haven't accepted me. Now, do I sit here for the rest of my life dwelling on that situation? Absolutely not. This is the reason why, if you're in a relationship with someone, with a spouse or a boyfriend or girlfriend, somebody that you have love for, you don't need to carry that issue with you for the rest of your life. Those things are not for you to deal with. When a person behaves the way they do and they don't want to see you or be a part of you or what you do, you can't force them. They have to be willing to say, I want to be a part of their life. I want to know what they're doing. I want to know how they go about it. I want to tell all the other children about it. And I want all of them to come together as one. That's how it's supposed to be. It works in a unity, in a uniform way. It doesn't work where everybody is simply puzzled, confused, and all over the place. That's not even what God designed. When problems and circumstances arise in your marriages, or with your father, with your mother, with people in your job, the fact is, the truth and the conversations and the means of communications is what's lacking, which is the number one problem, because they don't know you feel rejected, and they certainly don't know the fact that you feel the way that you do. But even when you voice it, for example, I've voiced what I've felt. However, nothing's been done about it. So what do? I sit back and I simply say, you know what? Let me go on with my life. Let me do what God desires for my life to do. Because at the end of the day, I have so many other things lined up for my life that I really don't want distractions to come and kick in, because then the rejection of everything I do is going to be put into that masterpiece of things that I'm doing. You understand what I'm saying? So it's important that when you feel like this, you understand that it's also reflecting in your work, it's reflecting in your business, it's reflecting with the people that you surround yourself with, it's reflecting in everything. Because rejection now is not just how the person absolutely decided they don't want to be bothered with you, it's how the person made you feel. So now your emotions are becoming a part of so many different things, and you're dealing with so many people, and you're also rejecting everything they do and say to you. If your child comes to you and says to you, "Mommy, I want you to look at this book that I'm reading," and you tell the child, "Not now because I'm dealing with daddy right now." That means that child is feeling rejected right there automatically, because you now made a priority of that situation with daddy, that argument, that issue, whatever y'all talking about, to become a part of the relationship that you just have with your child. And it's now reflecting on your child, seeing that you have made a priority to focus on the other person versus them. All you had to say to that child was, "Sweetheart, I will be with you in a second as soon as I finish having this conversation with daddy." Or you can say to daddy, "I need to check my child, focus on my child. Can you wait and hold on until I come back, and then we can continue to have this conversation?" Because now that child feels rejected by you because of your actions behind it. It's the same thing that goes over and over again. It's a cycle that keeps repeatedly happening. When that child grows up, he or she is going to do the same thing to their children, because you didn't put a stop to it. You automatically chose to ignore it, and you don't think anything of it because you're paying attention to the wrong thing. At the moment, that situation wasn't even important, because I guarantee you the discussion could have waited. Most of the time it can wait, but we choose to just make it a priority because we feel the need to. So let's take in for instance, the situation that I was telling you about. There's nothing wrong with the fact that when people go into shock and they get to find out situations like mine, 40 years of a situation that was never involved or no one even knew about, basically. So here I am trying to digest all of this, same thing everybody else is trying to digest and feel like, wow, what happened all these years? 40 years of not knowing a story. Do I dwell on that another 40 years? Absolutely not. Do I sit here and cry about it? Absolutely not. Because it is a two-way street. I was the one who was left without knowing a lot of the things that were taking place with mother and father. I was the one who was pretty much in a predicament, who was basically victimized because I didn't know. So now, do I have to be the one to make all this effort and go beyond and above? I don't believe so. Because why? Because I wasn't the actual individual who caused it. You understand where I'm going with this? The people who cause the problem are the ones who should always make the effort to go after the situation, so you don't have to feel rejected. You don't have to feel confused. You don't have to feel mistreated. You don't have to feel bounded into situations and circumstances that you never caused. That's the day I understood about rejection. I was never the problem. The problem was never me. So if you're on the screen, you can tap on the screen if you want to give some props with what I'm saying. Tap on your screen and give some props with what I'm saying, because I know somebody out there can relate to what I'm saying. The problem was never me. The problem was created with mom and dad, which means that now I understood why is it that I needed to stop feeling rejected. Because at the end of the day, I was never the problem, which means that now I have to remove myself from that circumstance, that situation, that issue, and allow those individuals to make it happen, to make peace, to make amends, to treat you and come to you in a way that you can understand what really took place. Why is it that they did what they did? Explaining what happened. Why did it take place? When you start seeing life in that light, you will not walk in this world constantly being in rejection, because what you didn't cause, the problem that took place, and you didn't cause it, and you didn't make that person feel like that, then you shouldn't have to make yourself walk around hammering yourself down for the rest of your life. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was hammering myself around. I was constantly feeling that I was the problem because nobody didn't want me. And at the end of the day, it really wasn't even about me. They had their own issues. They had their own issues to deal with, their own things to talk about. They probably never got around to talk about it. So what became of that was a circumstance of me being isolated and completely rejected, because of course my dad didn't know about me, and my mom was basically not telling me who my father was. So there you go. It was two issues with two different people, and here I am in the middle. So what I have to say tonight is that when you are dealing with somebody who's rejecting you, somebody who doesn't want you, somebody who doesn't like you, someone who makes you feel like a piece of crap, you need to understand that if you weren't the cause of the problem, you need to erase yourself from that situation, because now that person has to struggle with their own issues. That person has to come to understand that they have a problem. They need to understand how to deal with that problem. And you don't need to be the little guinea pig or the bucket where everybody drops their problems and issues at you. And you're supposed to be like, come on, take me, beat me up. I'll take all the stuff that you can say to me and I'll be okay with that. That's not acceptable in God's eyes. I do believe that God wants us to be free. I do believe God wants us to be in a place where we can live happy, but you have to stop feeling like an outcast in relationships. I no longer feel like an outcast when my brothers and sisters don't speak to me. I no longer feel like an outcast when my co-workers treat me like a piece of crap, because you were not created to feel rejected or to be rejected. You were created so that you can have abundance in life. Everything that was created in this universe was for you to take advantage of it. So when you start taking advantage of what God created for you and the peace of mind that you need to have for yourself, you will walk in perfect peace. And you will see yourself in a different light. And you won't have to feel like you owe anyone an explanation about the moves that you make to find peace in your life. The moment you want to make a move with your life, you don't need to tell somebody, I'm going to go get peace. Are you serious? For real? You don't need to go through all that. You just take it, own it. It is your right to own your peace. It is your right to own who you are. So you don't owe anybody anything. Stop walking around thinking that you owe people stuff. It's not fair to you that you have to carry baggages of issues that didn't have anything to do with you. Things that they're struggling with, people that just simply want to make you feel like a piece of crap. You don't have to take that. So even though it's been 10 months since I found out about my father, I have not seen him physically in those 10 months. And it's been several conversations, but not too many. And guess what? I'm okay with that. Not that it doesn't bother me. Take it this. It does bother. It does affect me. It does hurt. But it's not always something that I have to carry. I do understand that there are issues there that is going on. There are things that are probably personal within his family, the family he created with his spouse. So that means that I have to respect the fact that that's a situation and a circumstance. And all I can do from that point on is accept what God gave me, which was closure. Once God gave me closure in knowing who he was, I was fine with that. You know, once God said it's okay that you found out, what else can I do? I have to move forward. So don't walk rejected, because the situation is not personal. It's not that he doesn't like me. It's not like he doesn't love me. I guarantee you he does. But there's circumstances that sometimes makes people avoid the reality of situations, mainly because of the issues they have to face, the problems that they're dealing with, the things they have to go around trying to explain to people. So it's not something personally against me. Oh, I don't want to be bothered with my daughter. Absolutely not. There's certain things that people have to first fix and amend, because it's been 40 years of a lot of issues. So I can't say I'm going to go take a plane and go visit him and see him if I'm not going to be accepted in his house. I'm going to probably be rejected. So why would I put myself through that? until I get assurance that I will be accepted, that I will be okay traveling there and being able to come and visit, until I get assurance that the situation is really amended. But it's not amended because obviously there's no interaction or communication where everybody's on the same page. You know, one sister acts like she don't even know you. Then you have other sisters that adore you. I mean, seriously. Then you have brothers who you don't even know they know you. So all of that is so much confusion. Do you really think I need to step into all that confusion? Absolutely not. Especially when I have lived a life of peace, I have lived a life of comfort, I have lived a life that God gave me to my fullest potential of greatness. So I'm not going to step into situations that are going to cause me to be uncomfortable. So I know this message is for somebody out there who's stepping in to situations where you're feeling rejected. And in all reality, the rejection is not calling your name saying, Kemley Whiteside, reject me. Please come, people, reject me. That's not the case. The case is circumstances, situations, and issues arise that people have to face, fix, and deal with so that they can make peace, they can create amends of things, and they can start realizing how life is beautiful on the other side when they make that situation become better. You need to erase yourself, remove yourself, and wait until it's fixed. Wait until things become better. Don't get bitter. Don't get angry. If your ex-husband, your ex-wife caused you to be bitter and angry, today you need to stop it because it's not truly worth it. One of the things you have to see is that those issues and those situations that make you feel rejected by that person is because they have their own issues to deal with and you cannot fix them. You won't fix them because that's too much work. God takes a lot of time fixing us. What make you think that you're so special that you can fix somebody else? Seriously. I mean, and I'm not saying it in a sarcastic way, but it's the truth. What makes me think I'm going to be able to fix people when God takes a lot of time fixing us, myself included? So what makes me think I'm going to be Wonder Woman, go out there and try to fix that individual? Seriously. Don't waste your time doing all that and putting your energy into situations like that. You are literally destroying yourself little by little because that person is got to take its course just like I have to take my course. And God is going to do it when he feels like it, not when I feel like it. So you're wasting your time. You need to shut that down and say, you know what, bye. I'm not about to fix you. I'm not about to try to get you to understand what I am and who I am because you're not going to get anywhere. The main thing that you should focus on is how you're not going to be rejecting other people and making people feel uncomfortable with you, how you're going to work on yourself, how you're going to fix yourself. That's your number one job. Your number one job is to do that. It's not to try to fix the husband, the wife, the ex, or the whoever's. It's not your job. It is not your job to do that. So take, for instance, all of what I've said and understand what God is trying to do. He wants you to become full and complete, but you are allowing situations of other people's business, other people's troubles to interfere with your ultimate freedom in the power that you can have with so much that you can do. So there were 3 scriptures or 4 that I'm going to leave you with. Psalms 34, 17, 18. The Lord hears his people when they call to him for help. He rescues them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. We talked about your spirits being crushed. So what, they don't like you and your spirit got all crushed up and you got all defensive and all bent out of shape. It's okay. Because at the end of the day, you got a whole lot of more people that you can even deal with, be in contact with, and you may not even need that whole other stuff that's coming with that person. So if they told you something that you don't like and it offended you and it made you feel uncomfortable, so you felt rejected automatically, simply understand that that situation was a brokenhearted speaking to you. Someone who's brokenhearted is always going to be speaking brokenhearted stuff. They're not going to give you light. They're not going to give you great things. Someone who's broken is going to break you too. Someone who is messed up is going to want to make you messed up. Someone who's simply not content with their life is going to make you not be content with your life. So now you're seeking for something that you don't really need to seek and trying to make yourself fit in with that. Why? they're broken, then you end up broken. The next chapter is John 1:11-12. He came to his own people and even they rejected him. I mean, they rejected him. So what makes you think that people are not going to do it to you? I told you before, you're not simply super special for people to not treat you wrong. You will be treated wrong. You will be treated wrong. It's what you do with it. What you do with how the person treated you that's going to make you or break you. And you don't have to be broken. But to all who believed him and accepted him, he gave the right to become children of God. So all you have to do is accept the situation and accept yourself for who you are. Things will become better and in a brighter light. Matthew 22:16, they sent some of their disciples along with the supporters of Herod to meet with him. Teacher, they said, we know how honest you are. You teach the way of God truthfully. You are impartial and don't play favorites. When you're in a group of people that want to play favorites, and you're being isolated and you're not even being invited to their parties or invited to their get-togethers and all the great stuff, and you know very well that you could have been invited, guess what? You don't need to worry about that. It wasn't meant to be. And sometimes it's for the best. I haven't been invited to stuff that I know people could have done it. And I didn't feel, it makes you feel funny. But then at the same token, it also shows that maybe your standard is a little too much for them, that they may not be able to keep up with you. Have you ever thought about that? So sometimes they'll rather exclude you and not be bothered with you because you might be a little too much. You might be someone who they're trying to live up to and they can't. So they'll reject you and they'll automatically say, we don't want her around because then we'll have to sit this way, or we'll have to be this way, or we may have to talk this way. So sometimes it's not necessarily something that you're doing wrong. It's simply people. It's just people. Stop trying to understand people. It's not healthy. It's not worth it. The last one is 1 Peter 5:7. Give all your worries and cares to God, for he cares about you. So tonight, give all your worries out. Give all that rejection feeling away. Don't see yourself. That rejection is saying, Kemley Whiteside, please reject me, people. No, that is not God's intent. You don't walk around in a rejection status because rejection doesn't have a name. Rejection doesn't come knocking at your door because they want to mess with you. It just simply happens. And when it happens, you have to take into consideration that you don't have to accept it. You don't have to take it. You don't have to deal with it. You can walk away from it. I walked away from it, and I walked away from it in peace. Whenever they want to knock on my door and finally want the acceptance of being a part of a family, the doors will always be wide open because that's what God designed it to be. But do I need to feel rejected now? Do I need to feel not accepted now? Or do I need to be the outcast all the time? Absolutely not. So what do? I shut the door. I become protective of my heart. I become protective of who I am because I love myself. So I have to be this way so that I will stop feeling rejected or basically feeling like someone doesn't care or someone doesn't want to be bothered. A lot of times it's not something that we can dwell on or fix. So stop trying to fix the whole world. It's too much work to fix, too much of a world to fix. So tonight, understanding rejection, I gave you a personal testimony, a personal encounter, just because, and believe me, I pray to God about what he wanted me to speak tonight, because sometimes you can get emotionally tied into situations that you're dealing with personally. And people don't think I go through anything because they probably see me smile all the time. But I'm going to tell you this. The grace of God makes you smile. The grace of God makes you become complete. The grace of God fulfills you, because once you have that, you don't need anything else to give you any kind of confirmation. None. You really don't. He does it for you if you allow him to. So make it your best. Make it your business to work on yourself, to not reject your children. Don't reject your spouse. Don't reject the people around you. Even if they reject you, all you have to do is simply exercise not rejecting and exercising the light of love, the gift of love. And as soon as you do that, they will remove themselves because they won't be able to handle it. You're giving too much light. You're giving too much greatness. You're giving too much of everything that God wants. And when they're in that particular state of rejection and they're trying to make you feel this way, because again, God did not create you to feel rejected or be rejected. So people will make you feel rejected. You don't need to feel rejected. So try your very best to exercise it with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones, even with your enemies, even with those who don't like you. When they don't like you, once again, don't bother. Don't even attempt to make the effort. You're not here to change people. Once you give them the word, they will be able to receive it or not receive it. And that's what God wanted me to understand. When I preach the word of God, I preach it so that people can be saved, right? But now I don't do the saving. Jesus does the saving. So what do I do? Beat myself up if somebody didn't come to the altar to get saved? Absolutely not. God said, go ye and spread the gospel. That's what I'm doing. So if they don't want to receive it, am I going to walk away beating myself up because they don't want to be saved and they don't want to receive it? I can't. That's too much work. The work is not for me to dig in deeper to make them be saved or make them get it. God has to do that part if they're open and willing to open their hearts and receive it. So now that's the part that makes you feel more comfortable and free. That's why I can live a peaceful life and I can live a free life and I can live a good life, because I'm not sitting here constantly beating myself up for things I cannot control. The things I can't control will get me a lot of gray hair by now. And it's a lot. So trust me when I tell you, you don't want to do that. You don't want to focus on that. And you can't change who these people are. Tonight was great. I love you. I want you to invite other people. I want you to email me topics that you want to talk about. Email me questions. Even come into the seats. You know, this is live. So you can easily get on the open seat and I can have you speak directly to me, and we can easily ask questions and answer some of your questions and also be able to understand your situation, because this is helpful for everybody. So every single week on Mondays, we're here at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I want you to tell somebody else. We're in the East Coast. Tell somebody else. Make sure that you join my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is now available. It's been available. I just haven't been saying anything about it. Subscribe to it, to my Periscope people and to the people on Blab. So this way you can get notifications of videos and different things. Go to my website, to KemleyWhiteside.com, so you can get updated on the various tours. I'll be touring this year. I'll be doing a lot of things. So it's a lot of stuff. I'll be in different cities, different states. So if you are in one of those states, I want to be able to see you so you can actually see me and we can all mingle and enjoy each other. But it will be a very busy year. The journey is going places and the ministry is going places. You need to be a part of what we're doing, because if you want to make progress, if you want to change, and if you want to live a life that's going to bring you to that greatness, you need to follow those who are following it. Stop dealing with people that are speaking stuff and saying a bunch of stuff, and they're not really fulfilling it or even being an example of it. That's why I can't follow everybody. And it's the truth. I can't follow everybody. I see too many people joining people and following people, and that's great. But if they're not doing something or about something, why am I following them for? I mean, is it that important? No. I want to be able to follow someone who's doing something, who's progressing, who's advancing, who's constantly moving forward, because I want to move forward. So be careful what you're putting yourself into or who you tap into, because when you tap into too many people, you're now becoming immune to the cycle of just saying, I'm going to follow this person. I'm going to follow that person. And you're all over the place and you're not even accomplishing one thing out of all the people you're following. Listen to me, people. It's important. Stop feeling like you need to have every single body in your circle as a mentor or as whoever. If those people are not showing you progress with their own lives, that's not a good sign. So you need to be careful what you're doing, what you're depositing into your life. I'm not saying that people are not going to take their time to grow and become what they need to be. But if they've been doing stuff for too long and they haven't shown themselves approved, then you need to be careful. because God is watching who and what you're doing and who you're mingling with and what you're doing with them. So be very careful what you tap into. And until next time, I want to tell you I love you with the love of Christ. I want to see you next week. I want you to invite other people. We're going to talk serious stuff. We're going to go deeper into other stuff. You may want to be involved even in those topics because it's important that you are set free. So please feel free to join me next week. And also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to my website if you have questions or contacts, or just email me, KemleyWhiteside@gmail.com. I will see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful, productive week. Remember, understanding rejection was our topic tonight. And remember that rejection brings forth acceptance. That's chapter 5 of my book, Accepted, Secured, and Significant. Good night. I love you, and may God bless you.